Absolutely. Okay, so we're going to talk about 3 factors. Style, partnership, and courage. Those are the 3 things that it takes. Great quote from another exec, right? One who makes it to the top has luck, works hard, is bright, and believes in teamwork. And although it's not a personality game, you have to be personable, likable, and able to get along. Is that true? Yeah. 85% of people are hired because of their skill sets, and 85% of people are fired because of their inability to fit. Yes? Very true, right? It's the soft skills. They don't show up on your resume, but they're important. And that's why I think style is important, because the most successful people understand this very much. They know themselves and they know how they impact other people. They understand their reactions, right? Why does that guy rub me the wrong way? Or why does that lady drive me nuts? You have to know what you do well. And here's the most important thing, is the last bullet. You need to know how to adapt your behavior to create win-win interactions. Dr. William Marston, in the 1920s, created what we call the 4 archetypes of people. He didn't have an assessment, but he said that basically we're kind of one of 4 types of people, right? And probably all personality tests and DISC and things like that came from Marston's work. But Marston said that personality is different than behavior. He said, yeah, sometimes we say, well, that's my personality, just get used to it, right? Like it's hard wiring, I can't help it. But Marston said, isn't it interesting how your behavior can change depending on when you're at home and when you're at work, and depending who you're talking to. So he said, because of that, behavior is different than personality, because it's manageable. You can manage your behavior. You can't manage your personality, but you sure as heck can manage your behavior. You have full control over that. So DISC came about in the 70s. I love DISC. How many of you are familiar with DISC, the behavior style assessment? Okay? DISC is a little different than the Myers-Briggs, because what it does is it actually measures your perceived role in the landscape. In other words, what role do you think you need to play? Now, some of that's got hard wiring in it, but a lot of it's situational. So DISC, the D stands for dominant, okay? Shove it down your throat, collateral damage, conquer the goal at all cost. You ever work with someone like that? Oh yeah. Right? D is half of my style. I might be a quiet D, but don't doubt me, you will get to the finish line, whether you want to or not. When my stepdaughters were arguing about whose turn it was to empty the dishwasher, I said, I don't really care whose turn it is. I just want it done. They thought I was the drill sergeant. Probably got that from my dad. I stands for influence. It's all about people. It's all about persuasion. Great salespeople, enrolling people in the vision, the cheerleader, optimist, humorist. Mimi had a lot of ID in her style. That was what I noticed. S, steadiness. This is the glue. So think of D's as controlling tasks, I as controlling people, S's love to coordinate people. They're the glue, they're the mediators, they're the good listeners, they're the dependable ones, the ones who are dependable, who show up every day and open the office and make sure that everything runs smoothly. Do you need to have S's where you work? Absolutely. C's, conscientious. They like to coordinate and manage tasks. Data, that's my other half. All my clothes are lined up in my closet. Call it formal. They all face the same way. They're all hung by color. I can get dressed in the dark. Okay, I'm a DC. I'm a very kind general, but I am extremely disciplined. What's interesting is when I worked for the Chamber of Commerce in Hawaii as VP of Operations, my style was SC. Why? I got all the escalated calls from members. The board members couldn't reach the president, they called me, and I was in charge of the staff. So I got all the issues. So I had to be a strong S because I was constantly in mediating mode. But ever since I left the chamber, S has never been my highest style. I've been a DC, CD for the last 15 years. Why? Because I got into leadership. And the buck stops with me. And I don't have a boss anymore. Right? But you have to understand style. And when people tell me, well, my boss says I'm a D and I just need to learn to get along with him. And I say, wow, he really missed an important lesson. Great to know your style and your impact on others. Great to recognize other people's styles and their impact on you. And more importantly, can you adapt your style for a win-win? And if you haven't learned how to do that, you're not going to get very far.